Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, we'll give you the signs and symptoms of a deadly syndrome that affects infants.
And we'll tell you how spending money remodeling your home could actually save you money down the road.
Then these performers debut a musical that first premiered on Broadway more than 50 years ago.
And we'll show you how the Torrance delegation displayed their pride during a stiff civic competition.
These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. What was called Carmageddon may have turned out to be Carmaheaven. The 405 closure was a success on all fronts, so much so that the freeway opened nearly 24 hours ahead of schedule. It also turned out to be a boon for those who decided to drive, since traffic in most parts of the county was non-existent. Metro officials also believe ridership was up 15 to 20% on the Orange Line busway, the Red Line subway, and the Green Line. And the success of the freeway closure may be a result of endless media promotion. Experts say without such extensive coverage on television, radio, and in newspapers, it would have been impossible for officials to spread the word about the shutdown and have drivers comply.
Well, here are some highlights from the most recent City Council meeting. The Torrance Library Commission spoke during the oral communications portion of the meeting. The commission reported that the number of students enrolled in the summer reading program has nearly doubled since last year. They also reminded everyone that students can still take part in the program. The city claimed more than $5 million in funds from the county's Metropolitan Transportation Authority and State Transit Assistance. This is a reimbursement for the Torrance Transit System's fiscal year 2011 to 2012.
Torrance is saving lives with an annual campaign. Let's go out to West High School, where reporter Shante Passmore has this story.
Donating blood is nothing new for Tiffany Adams.
It was time, and decided since my kids go here, it was a great, convenient place to come and donate.
Adams donates often, and today's blood drive is especially important because her children attend West High. The school is participating in the annual blood drive, Torrance Saves Lives. And according to American Red Cross, having the blood drive at this school makes sense.
Donor base comprise about 20%, over 20% of that is our high school students. Those are the ones that donate regularly during the school year, but then when summer comes, of course, they go on vacation.
Less than 38% of the U.S. population can donate blood, but only 8% actually do so. And red blood cells can't last forever. In fact, they typically have a lifespan of 42 days.
But in Southern California, that's even much less. There's about 3% who donate in Southern California. So we need more donors to donate.
New donors are always welcomed, but the need for regular donations is also important. Since Adam is healthy, she can donate every 8 weeks, and she understands that her pint of blood can save up to 3 lives.
There was a pastor at our church whose infant son was born critically ill, and they ran a blood drive up at our church, and I felt the need as a mom to go in and donate blood, whether it was used for him specifically or for someone else. And it was just something that I wanted to do for a long time, and that was just the thing that kind of spurred me to go in.
But of course, she needed a little coaching for her first blood drive.
My father does donate blood. He's been a Red Cross donator for a really long time, and so it was nice. We did it. He and I did my first blood drive together, and so it was kind of fun. He was kind of my inspiration to keep going as well, because he does it often.
Blood collected today will go to South Bay hospitals. Adams feels that donating blood is the right thing to do, and she's hoping to encourage others.
Yeah, I'm working on my 16-year-old. I would love for her to come and donate blood. She's interested, a little nervous to do it for the first time.
I'm Shante Passmore reporting for This Week in Torrance.
Thank you, Shante. The Torrance Saves Lives campaign will continue until July 31st. For a complete list of participating drives, go to redcross.org.
A last-ditch effort to save a popular bookseller has failed. After declaring bankruptcy just a few months ago, Borders will soon close. The booksellers shut down a third of their stores when they filed for Chapter 11 protection in February. Now unable to find a buyer, Borders will liquidate their assets and shutter the 399 remaining locations by September. The company has fought to stay afloat amid changes in the publishing world, and that includes their failure to move quickly and aggressively in the e-book arena. Borders will begin closing some stores as early as this week. It's unclear as to when the Torrance location will close. Consumers should check the Borders website for regular updates.
Animal control officers may soon decide whether a dog is dangerous. The county supervisor's office will vote to change current law, which only allows a judge to decide on a dog's threat level. Under the new ordinance, once a dog is found to be potentially dangerous, the county can require the animal be confined, muzzled, or dressed in a fluorescent collar visible from 50 feet away. The owner can also be fined and ordered to take the animal to obedience classes. In some cases, the dog can be euthanized. The new ordinance also allows officers to consider all prior attacks when making decisions. They can consider not just bites and fractures, but serious illnesses like cardiac arrest brought on by a dog attack. Up next on This Week in Torrance, we'll tell you why remodeling your home could save you money.
And we'll give you the signs for a deadly syndrome that affects infants. Those details are coming up after the break.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Uncle, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm going to look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Once Upon a Mattress premiered on Broadway in 1959. The musical will soon premiere in Torrance with a cast unlike other productions. Reporter Jennifer Wade brings us this preview.
The Aerospace Players put final touches on their musical comedy, Once Upon a Mattress, based on the fairy tale, The Princess and the Pea. It's sure to be a hit for the whole family.
The cast spent the last 3 months building sets, sewing costumes, and getting into character. And with live shows just around the corner, cast members can't wait to perform.
He's the romantic lead, trying the whole show to finally win over a princess, win the one that his mom will approve of, and he finally meets the girl of his dreams, and happy ending, so it's a good part.
She's the anti-princess. She comes in disheveled, swimming a swamp. She's nothing like you'd expect a princess to be, and that's what's so lovely about the story.
And not only does the musical feature original characters, the director borrowed a few characters from other famous tales.
We've added people from other fairy tales like the Ugly Stepsisters from Cinderella, and we have the Duchess from Alice in Wonderland, and Igor.
This version is guaranteed to be different than anything you've seen. With magical sets and modern humor, audience members will have wide eyes and smiles throughout the show.
Our version, as opposed to doing it in a castle like it's normally done, ours is a giant storybook, and our set is a children's library, and the book is a giant pop-out book. And as each page turns, the set pops out.
Along with a unique set, the actors consist of a unique group as well. They're called the Aerospace Players, a forum made up of employees, family members, and friends of the Aerospace Corporation and the Los Angeles Air Force Base.
I build satellites up in El Segundo at the Boeing Company, and so this for me is just great because it's totally opposite of what I do all day, and I get to come and just goof around on stage and have fun.
It's been around for a long time, much longer than I've been here. I've been here 6 years, but the group's been around for over 20, and a lot of people have come back every year, and it's like a big family.
Despite having demanding careers and crazy rehearsal schedules, the Aerospace Players still manage to give back to the community.
We went out to the Torrance Library. They had us come out and do a little Princess Days event for the kids. We read a story and performed some songs from the show.
It's a huge community effort within our ensemble of creating this little fantasy musical.
You're going to hear a really downtown sound.
It's wonderful for adults, and there's some adult humor that'll go right over the kids' heads, but then it's, of course, such a classic tale that all the kids will love.
Be sure to catch Once Upon a Mattress at the James Armstrong Theater, July 22nd through the 30th. To see your favorite fairy tale come to life. This is Jennifer Wade for CitiCABLE.
And the Aerospace Players will perform Once Upon a Mattress at the James Armstrong Theater July 22nd to July 30th. For more information, go to aeaclubs.org or call the theater box office at 310-781-7171.
When the weather heats up, most of us crank up the AC, but your comfort may be disrupted when your utility bill arrives. Reporter Shantae Passmore finds out how remodeling can save you money and energy.
Most homes leak hotter in the winter and trap heat during the summer, forcing us to crank up our AC or heater just to feel comfortable. But doing this isn't really a solution. It's just a temporary fix.
This is what Joel Miller used to experience. Part of the problem was that glass on his windows were single pane, and that can create a chilly winter. Miller knew changing the windows could help, but then he discovered Energy Upgrade California.
I'm concerned about our environmental carbon footprint. I also like the program because it's saving energy, and I think the last reason, and these are not in any particular order, just cost savings. I'll be saving money.
Basically, the program is an energy retrofit program, and it is really a collaborative effort of the utility companies, the publicly owned utility companies, the County of Los Angeles. So the whole idea is that homeowners who may want to do some upgrades to their home have the opportunity to really employ some measures that are going to give them increased energy savings, reduced energy bills, more comfort for their home.
To reduce energy costs, the program doesn't look at adding insulated windows here and there, or simply recommend energy-efficient light bulbs. It uses the whole house approach. Contractors look at the house as a system with everything working together.
It's about having a combination of good insulation, good windows, good air conditioning system, and combined together as the whole house approach.
There it is, Ryan.
You can have the most efficient air conditioning system that's made, but if you don't have insulation in the walls and you have leaky windows, it's really kind of inefficient.
Whether it's from windows, from wall insulation, cool roofs, to hardwired electrical fixtures, to a new heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system.
If you spend a lot of time in your living room, and that so happens to be the west side of the house, and the sun's beating down on that at the end of the day, well, that's an area that we want to focus on. So if you were insulating your walls, for example, we may not recommend to insulate all of the walls in your house. You want to insulate the walls where you're spending the most time to get the greatest comfort.
In a previous remodel, Aaron Sieber cut the homeowner's utility cost by 41%. Not only is the program looking to reduce your energy cost, local gas and electric companies work with federal and state governments to offer rebates. If your energy savings are 10%, then you can receive up to $1,250. If you double that energy saving, then you can receive a $4,000 check in the mail. And in some cases, the statewide program offers rebates up to $6,000. Filling out rebate forms may be tedious, but contractors like CSI can help.
So we do all the paperwork for our customers. All they have to do is sign on the line. We'll even send it in, and then we have a tracking software for our customers to make sure when they get the rebate.
Remodeling a house is never cheap, especially when people are on a tight budget in this economy. But for Miller, having comfort in his home also means resting easy with his pocketbook. And overall, he's hoping to increase his energy savings anywhere from 10 to 20%. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Shantae Passmore.
Thank you, Shantae. For more information on Energy Upgrade California, contact the South Bay Environmental Services Center at 310-371-7222.
Last week, we introduced you to Trevor, a survivor of shaken baby syndrome, and his mother, who was accused of causing his injuries. Trevor's chronic health issues were all preventable, but when stress levels rise, caring for a crying baby can become a challenge. Reporter Jacqueline Shepard finds out how caregivers can stop this deadly condition before it starts.
In the United States, each year an estimated 1,200 to 1,400 children are violently shaken, causing severe injury or even death. The effects of shaking a baby can lead to a diagnosis of shaken baby syndrome.
It's like having gelatin, like your brain is gelatin and then your skull, and you're just crashing back and forth. So the impact on both sides, and that's what caused my seizures and the hemorrhaging and everything and the internal bleeding in my brain.
Shaken baby syndrome is actually a constellation of symptoms that together create a diagnosis of shaken baby syndrome, because typically when a baby is violently shaken, there are no external injuries. There's no blood dripping from the head. There's no, physical broken bones.
But the internal injuries can be devastating. The most common injuries include bleeding on the brain, massive brain swelling, and bleeding inside the eye. Victims usually range from infant to 2 years old and are most often shaken by a parent or guardian who loses control.
It turned everything inside out for me, because I know in my heart that, I love Trevor more than anything. And there's, they might try to kind of manipulate you into answering questions that might make you want to feel like, well, God, maybe I did do something, but you didn't in your heart.
During the trial, medical evidence indicated Trevor's injuries happened while in the care of a licensed child care professional. Although Trevor's parents were exonerated, charges were never filed against the child care provider.
We authored a law, Senate Bill 819 in 2001, that requires that when a court has exonerated the parents when death or injury occurs in a licensed daycare facility, that they reopen the investigation based on the evidence.
25% of all children who suffer shaken baby syndrome will die, and almost all survivors will face medical challenges well into adulthood. For Trevor, his primary issue is pain.
I could have been a fine boy. Like, I probably wouldn't have had the neck pain that I have and the knee pain that I have now.
Trevor was shaken when he was just 4 months old, causing blindness in his right eye. He missed 56 days of school last year due to pain and hospitalization. Now he's in physical therapy for chronic pain, muscle spasms, and misalignment of his extremities.
Your spine is made up of different vertebrae or bones, so they're one stacked, one on top of the other. Let's say because of that initial injury, that one is a little bit more loose. Okay, so are you a little bit more prone to injury? Probably. Like if the core needs a little bit more strengthening, if his hips need a little bit more strengthening. Because if there's a missing link somewhere, one of the joints is going to take the brunt of the damage.
The degree of brain damage depends on the amount and duration of the shaking. Survivors are left with handicaps ranging from mild learning disorders to blindness and paralysis.
All of them except one were really badly suffered from it. Like, they are in a wheelchair, have to eat through a tube and drink through a tube that goes in their stomach.
Shaken baby syndrome is preventable and frequently occurs when a frustrated caregiver loses control with a crying baby.
I want them to know that it's something that is very dangerous, and a lot of teenagers and young people are having babies, and at that level in age they tend to get more frustrated and a lot easier, and they're not mature enough yet for a baby.
Now that Trevor is older and understands what happened when he was just 4 months old, he and his mother are on a mission to educate others.
I started a meetup group where we're trying to reach out to find other shaken baby families so that we can kind of maybe have a little summer get-together or something, so we can meet other families, share our resources. He's using this as a tool to kind of broaden his horizon. He loves speaking in public, he loves being in front of a camera, he loves meeting other people, and it gives him a real sense and a real lift of his self-esteem.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Jacqueline Shepard.
For online training and tools on how to prevent shaken baby syndrome, go to don'tshake.org. Coming up, we'll bring you back to Kansas City for the run-up to the All-America City Award competition.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 110 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 600% increase in the last 20 years. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
There's a movement afoot. Arthritis is America's most common cause of disability. Walking just 30 minutes a day can ease joint pain, improve mobility, and stop the progression of the disease. Start moving now to prevent and control arthritis. And let's move together to raise funds for a cure. Join the movement and participate in the arthritis walk in your area. Log on to letsmovetogether.org and start moving today.
Last week we told you about the start of Torrance's bid for the All-America City Award. This week we're going back to Kansas City for the competition. Reporter Alexa Sita has more.
As Torrance continued their rehearsals, so did other delegations, and competition came from all over, like Scott City, Kansas, Tupelo, Mississippi, Downey, California, Dedham, Massachusetts, Seaside, Oregon, and Kenai, Alaska.
Just by you folks being here, you're already all-American cities. And as you might expect coming from the mayor of a city, I want to make sure that you understand from my perspective, cities are the absolute backbone of this country.
Later, at a rally to get everyone fired up, the jury was introduced, a brief reminder of the competition that lay ahead. Still, Mayor James encouraged everyone to have fun during their stay in Kansas City. A good suggestion. After all the preparation, everyone needed to let off some steam.
What about Torrance, California?
And to keep the Torrance delegation relaxed, participants had a party of their own. Pizza and a few laughs before the big day. Before a panel of experts from the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, finalists had to explain how their community and their city work together to solve problems. And so Torrance began their 10-minute presentation.
Like most communities nationwide, Torrance has to deal with the question of how to maintain essential services and their quality while making necessary, painful budget cuts to those same services. Torrance Transit had to face such a challenge, and one answer to that challenge was the Torrance Transit Ambassador Program.
First, members of the Transit Department and city volunteers shared the Transit Ambassadors Program, or TAP. Cuts to senior taxi ride subsidies hurt the city and its residents, but with this program, ambassadors train seniors on how to ride transit buses. TAP saves the city money while also saving seniors mobility and independence.
Public transportation is great, but Torrance is in LA where the car is still king. Gasoline-powered passenger vehicles create over 90% of the transportation emissions in Torrance, and over a third of our greenhouse gas emissions. If we can't get people out of their cars, what can we, as a community, do to really help improve the environment?
Next, Torrance honked its own horn regarding our partnership with Honda on the Global Electric Vehicle Demonstration Program. As an early adapter city, Torrance was given one of just 3 EV concept electric cars. The program also drives community plug-in sessions where residents discuss charging stations and other environmental improvements.
Torrance cares so much about alternative fuels because it's the future that motivates us, and children are that future. In Torrance, we believe that children of all needs and abilities deserve a healthy, positive, caring, and supportive environment in which they can thrive. And there is no better example today of a thriving environment for children who need special help than Pediatric Therapy Network.
Finally, Torrance proudly introduced the Pediatric Therapy Network, a part of the Torrance community for more than 15 years. And during that time, PTN has grown from a clinic serving 100 clients to a world-renowned development and therapy center.
Luke, what did you like best about PTN?
Writing my name in shaving cream.
And after 10 minutes of Q&A with the jury, the mayor summed up the delegation's hard work and the city itself.
Hi, I'm Mayor Frank Scotto. I've lived in Torrance for over 56 years, but I can tell you, I've never been so proud of our city as I am right now.
That was Alexis Cedar reporting. Unfortunately, the city did not win this year's All-America City Award, but all was not lost. Participants walked away with a new sense of civic pride. For more information, go to allamericacityaward.com. And that's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.